What's good, everybody? Welcome to another edition of my CD collection. Um, I know it's been a couple of weeks since I got into it. I just want to tell you that it's been busy with work and everything. Yeah. So yeah, some of these CDs I got, I had already done a review on, and then some other CDs that I was so hyped on getting, so I can't pass the chance. Yeah, let me get started. First album I'm about to do today, Childish Gambino's latest studio album, Awaken My Love, released in 2016 on Glassnote Records. Um, you guys should know who Childish Gambino, also known as Donald Glover. You know, he um he was on the show Community. He dropped his first album because the internet. I think he dropped that in 2013, and then he dropped hold on, what's that? I have to cheat a little. I have to cheat a little bit. My fault. What was that? One joint he dropped. Yeah, he dropped because the internet. Then he dropped um a mixtape and EP called STNMTN slash Kai. I think that's how you say it. And then I said that was in 2014. And he was doing his show at Atlanta in 2016, and he came out with this one right here. Singles I'm known for are Me and Your Mama and Redbone. Alright, this album right here is like a lot more different than Because the Internet, because this basically a soul and funk album. Like no rapping whatsoever. Very dope album right here. Very good album. Um Love the funky jazz vibe they have. This definitely sounds like it could have been made in the 70s. That's how good it is, in my opinion. So yeah, expect a review on this album. Not anytime soon, but once I get a chance, I got you. Childish Gambino, Awaken My Love. Next album is Miles Davis with Tutu, released in 1986 on Warner Brothers Records. Um, have Kinda Blue, Bitches Brew, and Sketches of Spain. So you guys should know who Miles Davis is. This was originally this was supposed to be a a duo album with him and Prince because both of them were signed under Warner Brothers, but it didn't come out that way. So yeah, he worked with Marcus Miller, and right, he worked with Marcus Miller and stuff like that. This album, um, it's not a bad album. This was around, this is like the '80s and stuff like that, and this album, it definitely has that '80s sound, that '80s sound. You know what I'm talking about? It's with the synthesizers, and yeah. Although I do admit it is kind of like a bit more polished compared to some of his other works. This is actually still a good album. Like people do sleep on this one because that the sound is like more funky, more R&B influence, but it still has that classic Miles Davis sound to it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So this is Miles Davis with Tutu. It's actually album actually won him a Grammy. It won him a Grammy for best jazz instrumental performance on this for this album. So dope album. Next album is the Rolling Stones Let It Bleed, released in 1969. Wait, was it 1969? Yeah, hold up. Yeah, 1969 on Decca in the UK and London in the US. Um, Rolling Stones. You guys should know who they are. I have talked about Sticky Fingers, their best album. I talked about Tattoo You. a slept on album, if you ask me. Probably their last great album. I have yet to hear Blue and Lonesome. I'm going to hear it most likely this week. And Voodoo Lounge, but I'm going to save my thoughts on that one until the right moment. This album was um, released like the second album released after like the classic period kickstarted with the Beggars Banquet album. I Need to Get My Collection. Singles I was known for are Let It Bleed and You Got the Silver, was only released in Japan only. So this album was a lot of stuff was going on with the Rolling Stones around this time. Like this album was the last to feature Brian Jones because he died that year after like a drowning. He drowned in his pool and stuff like that. So this was originally like the first album with Mick Jones. And don't get me wrong, I like Brian Jones, but when Mick Jones came to the group, that was my favorite like incarnation of the Rolling Stones when he was in the group. 'Cause I felt like he kind of, how can I put this? How can I put this? He elevated like both Jagger and Richards in this account. You know, he elevated both of them in my opinion. And I'll get more into that once I review the albums. Once I review the album, I'll get more into that. And also, this was released. This album was released like I think a couple of days after, or wait, hold on. I think it was released like a couple of days after the Altamar incident. You guys know it was they had like this little concert, and I think somewhere in California, and basically what happened was the Hells Angels, the security was fucked up. A black guy, a black guy, I think his name was like Meredith something. A black guy got killed there. Yeah. So and also with this album, they kind of went back to the blues influenced roots because you guys know, I think beginning with between the buttons and their satanic, majestic, that album, that the satanic theme of J like their satanic majesty's request, yes. Um, okay. Yeah, because that was like more on the psychedelic, where although Beggar's Banquet, it did like have like a little bit of this bluesy style. It has more of a country vibe to it, and stay tuned for that. But other than that, classic album right here, highly regarded as like one of their best records in my opinion. So must have. Then we have this album, Exile on Main Street. Oh my god. I've been meaning to get this album for years. Finally got it. Of course, definitely expect a review on this one. Definitely expect a review on this one. Okay. So Exile on Main Street was released in 1972 on their label Rolling Stones. Um, Singles I was known for are Tumbling Dice, Sweet Black Angel, Happy, All Down the Line. A lot of people have said this is their best album. Um, this is probably my second favorite album from them. Like, because although I do like this album, I do admit it kind of gets overpraised a bit too much. I kind of prefer Sticky Fingers because it was just that right balance with the blues rock and the Rolling Stones, like kind of like an adult mix with the blues rock and like the hard rock of the Rolling Stones. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And one thing I had loved about this album, it was just so dirty, like the production, like so dirty album. Um, like probably their most rawest album, if you ask me. And so, a little backstory with this album. They actually, um, by the time they released Sticky Fingers, they had were going. they were kind of going through some money problems with like taxes and stuff like that. So I think the majority of this album, I think they moved to France when they done this album. If I'm not mistaken, wait, hold on. Yeah, they were working on this album like in France and stuff. And this is the 2010 Mastered Edition. The Let It Be one was the 2002 reissue mastered, however you want to call it. So yeah, and I'm just gonna say this right now, but this is Keith Richards' best moment, best album with the Rolling Stones. Stay tuned. Rolling Stones, Exile on Main Street. Okay, this next album, I don't care what people's opinion about this. I know a lot of people are kind of gonna be like, "Wow, you got this album," or some people might be like, "This might be shocked," but I don't care. This album was dope. This is Beyonce with Lemonade, released in 2016. Singles I'm known for are Formation, Sorry, Hold Up, Freedom, and All Night. Okay, so everybody in the moms should know who Beyonce is. She was a member of Destiny's Child. Went solo. The rest is history. Okay, so Formation. This album came out of nowhere. Like it really came out of nowhere. I mean, don't get me wrong. Formation was released. It was the first single released, and things of that nature. So yeah. So she debuted in the movie with a 60-minute film, and like in that whole album was every song on this album had like a video to it. So yeah, I like this. I actually did like this album. I thought it was. I love the diversity with the sounds. Like you had his hard rock songs, you had his soul song, had his jazz song. Very dope album right here. I mean, I'm not like the biggest Beyonce fan to be honest, but I do admit she puts in work. I can tell you that. I know a lot of people be like, "Oh well, I hate Beyonce and all that." Okay, well, yeah, but like, I'm gonna say she is better than most artists out now. So Beyonce Formation 2016. Then we got this album I've been meaning to get for a minute. I always it's very hard to find in stores, but they actually re-released this album on vinyl and cassette last year, late last year. Tupacalypse Now, the very first album with Tupac, released in 1991 on Interscope Records. I have Strictly for My Niggas. Basically, I have all this albums: Strictly for My Niggas, Me Against the World, All Eyes on Me, and Don Illuminati, which I had just done a review on about 2 weeks ago. Check it out. This is the last album, or if you can count the Thug Life compilation, but I can get that probably anytime. This is the last album from his discography. Now, listening to this album and listening to the Tupac, like a lot of people know now, not a lot of Tupac fans like this album because it wasn't as gangster as All Eyes on Me or Don Illuminati, but this is probably one of my maybe my third favorite album from him. Probably I have it changes depends on the day, but this is a very dark, probably his darkest album in his discography. Like singles I was known for are Traps, Brenda's Got a Baby, If My Homie Calls, yeah, and If My Homie Calls. I love that song. Um, this is definitely he was still fresh out of Digital Underground with this. I mean, but this album did have some controversy because there was actually an incident that happened in '91 when this guy named Ronald Way Howard he murdered a Texas state trooper and his defense attorney, and he claimed he was influenced by Tupacalypse Now because this whole album, a lot of the albums talking about police brutality. That's like one of the main themes coming throughout this whole album. So yeah, he says influenced by and Dan Quayle. basically was talking about this whole album, saying that there's no space for this album to be in stores. Fuck Dan Quayle. No, that's all I have to say. Other than that, good album, very good album in my opinion. It's not gonna appeal to a lot of Tupac fans if you love like the gangster rap Tupac, But this album very political, very um dark, co- conscious album. This is a Tupac I really like. The conscious Tupac, from 91 to 95. That's my favorite era of Tupac. After he came out of jail, um, that's when I was. I mean, I still like Tupac. I still like his music when he was in Death Row, but there's nothing can top like that era of Tupac. He was like at his most down to earth around that time. Like he was just that dude. So expect a review on this. This album was actually out of print, but they re-released it like I said, so must have. Then this is the album had done a review on like late last year December. So happy I got this. Prince, the Black Album, 1987. Well, released in '94, but was supposed to come out in '87. Um, yeah, I've done a review on this. Um, love this album, very funky. Yeah, check out the review. Another album I've done a review on. MC8 featuring Compton's Most Wanted with Become Strapped, released in 1994 on Epic Street, if I'm not mistaken. Epic Street. Yeah, Epic Street. Okay, so MC8, I have reviewed Compton's Most Wanted, straight checking them. I have reviewed Music to Drive By, their best album. I've not reviewed their first album, not reviewed that one. I don't have that album on my in my collection, and it's actually been a while since I've heard that album. But yeah, that album I would review that album. So yeah, it's the Compton thing. That's the thing. I will review that album. So stay tuned. So We Come Strapped. This is a West Coast classic. Very dope album. Singles I was known for are All for the Money and G's Make the World Go Round. Oh yeah, this album is gangster rap at its finest. Everything about this album is dope. Like MC8's production on this whole album. I mean, he's not he produced a couple of tracks, but he didn't produce everything. And it was just on some other shit. Like, this whole album is so dope. Like, you can play this whole album without skipping a track. Like Death Wish 2, Take Two with Me, We Come Strapped, Can I Still Kill It, Nothing But the Gangster with Spice One and Redman. Redman, best verse on that song, bar none. Like, they all did their thing, but I liked Redman's verse better. Yeah, so done a review on this one, so check it out. And last album I got is Big L, Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous, released in 1995 on Columbia Records. Yeah, I have his last album, The Big Picture, in 2000, 1 year after he died, and so this is his first album. Singles album is known for are Put It On, MVP, and No Ends, No Skins. Yeah, Big L. Um, rest in peace to him. This album, classic album. This has that West Coast dope West Coast sound. Oh, that dope East Coast boom bap sound and things like that. I mean, certain songs like right here, like All Black, Street Struck, The Graveyard with Jay Z, Party Artie, Lord Finesse, Microphone Nut, Granddaddy IU, like, whew, that song was ill. Damn, like this whole album was just This whole album was very good. I know a lot of people were bitching about the album because they said the production was not good or it was just too. Production was not good. Um, the production was fine because it fit this whole album. Like the production, like had that dark, grimy vibe with it. I have found nothing wrong with the production, and they left out some tracks like because certain songs, Columbia Records weren't really feeling because he was just doing too. It was too much like too dark and stuff like that. So I would talk more to that when I do a review on this album. So Big L, Lifestyles the Poor and Dangerous, must have your copy. They actually released an album in Traffic about a couple of years ago. That's nothing. Traffic. We need some more re-releases. Y'all slipping. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more views, collection vids. Peace.